from Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinneman. Being eaten by a bugbear makes me uncomfortable, Carl. So if your boyfriend ogling your tootsies keeps these easy peasy bugs coming at us instead of more of those lava-spitting llamas, then you better buck up, get over your human male privilege, and take one for your princess.
Welcome back to the Reading Room Ruffians, your favorite library podcast. This is Mallory, and today I am the Sleepies. Send help. I'm joined by my BFF Ariel, who is ready for a 1,000-year coma.
Just call me Sleeping Beauty, but don't send my true love.
Our Supreme Overlord Carla is wrapping up a strongly worded letter to the Sandman on behalf of us all today.
He needs to just stop. Just stop it now.
We are recording from our library in Jackson County, West Virginia. Zach, who just wants to snooze the day away, is recording from Seattle, Washington.
I'm not actually even awake yet.
Before we get to it, we're going to mention MiniCon probably every single episode until MiniCon.
I was going to say, up until MiniCon.
That is going to be April 6th from 12 to 6 p.m. And we're in panic mode, but
Not me. I got droids in the making.
She's been stealing everybody.
Stealing everybody.
She's the volunteer thief.
And I'm not sorry.
No, she's not. She's not at all. We're going to have our Spice Club. Well, I mean, we have it every month. So this month, February, was curry, and that's been pretty yummy. March will be coriander seeds, which will also be really exciting. So I'm thinking like some corned beef or something for St. Patrick's Day.
Sounds good.
Yeah. We will also have 4 Eclipse programs, 2 at Ripley and 2 in Ravenswood. So the first one at Ripley will be February 15th, and the first one in Ravenswood will be February 22nd, and then February 29th for Ripley and March 7th for Ravenswood. And that's going to be Carla's program. And what are you guys doing for it?
We're going to learn how eclipses work and how our solar system travels through the universe, which is really cool. We got some other little fun things to do, and we're going to make a kind of like a glow-in-the-dark moon craft. And they will get solar eclipse glasses if they attend the program.
Whoop, whoop. Those are a hot commodity, y'all. I think by the time this airs, you guys will be, ready for the 29th and then March 7th. So the 2 will be gone, but you still have 2 more chances to get some glasses.
With those, we will do a pinhole viewer, so if you don't have the glasses. And it's just a cool thing to look at and watch anyway.
We're also starting Toddler Storytime, and that's going to be here in Ripley, and that'll be on Mondays starting February 26th, which is actually the day you guys will get this.
Woohoo!
And then Ravenswood is having their second Junk Journaling Club meeting, and that sounds like it's actually pretty fun. They provide journals, everything like that, craft supplies. If you want, all you really have to do is bring a little keepsake that you want to craft around. It's pretty cool.
It makes me think of those aesthetic journals that people make, which are so fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, really.
I don't know if I would do it, but I do like watching them.
Yeah. I feel like I would stress too much about it.
That's my thing. I'd be like, I hate this.
So weird.
I have to walk away.
Bye. Yeah. So that's a little bit of what is coming up. We're trying really hard to actually give you guys what we're doing in the library. So hopefully we sound really fun because we are.
It will be fun.
You can find our Facebook group by searching Reading Room Ruffians Podcast, which is linked to our library's Facebook page at facebook.com/WVJCO Library. You should also follow us on TikTok and Instagram at WVJCO Library and check out our podcast Goodreads page, which we have linked in our episode description, along with our personal Goodreads pages. So who wants to go first with books?
I still haven't remembered the 2 I just finished. So give me a while.
Oh my
I've been thinking about it all morning. I can't remember.
I can talk about a book.
Okay.
Let's see. I finished The Cruel Prince and the Wicked King recently. I'm rereading the Cruel Prince trilogy because the newest book on the Stolen Heir duology is coming out in March. So I was like trying to reread everything and get it all familiarized because I hadn't read these in 4 years. I didn't realize it had been that long since I had read them originally.
This really doesn't feel like it's been that long since. I
Can you
really am
speak
just going to
English
give
today?
up. I don't think I can. I am just going to leave.
So let me tell you about The Cruel Prince a little bit. It's about this girl named Jude. She is a human, but she lives in Elfheim, which is like, land of the fairy people and stuff, the fair folk. And she came to live there with her twin sister and her older sister because her older sister is half fae. And he came to take her back to Elfheim and ended up murdering their parents. So he was like, well, we'll take these twins too because I don't shirk responsibility.
Murder's okay.
Murder's fine, but shirking responsibility
It was
is
because
not.
she left, like she ran away from him.
Yeah, she
and,
killed
like,
another.
shirked her responsibility.
Yeah, she killed somebody and burnt the house down, and he thought that she died in the house fire. It was somebody else's remains.
Oh.
Yeah, right? So she ran off with her lover.
Her human
Yeah,
lover.
her human lover.
A
And
sin.
he's a red cap.
Who is?
The dad.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yes.
Right? So he raises Jude and Vivian and what's her sister's name?
I don't know, but I hate her.
She's not super important in the story. You just she's there to like be like, ugh, I don't like you.
Oh, wait, you mean the oldest sister?
No, that's Vivian.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I like Vivian.
That's what I thought. I was very scared for a second. I said the
no.
wrong one, but yeah.
Shoot, what is Jude's twin sister?
I don't remember.
Starts with a T. Anyways. It's not
Trifling.
Tourmaline.
Trifling fool.
That's her name. Trifling Tina.
Anyways, so she decides to pick a fight, basically, with the prince, the youngest prince of Elfheim, and she ends up becoming. She wants power. That's what she wants because she's human and, the Fae court, and she has none, and she can be glamored and all this stuff. So she trains with her dad, and she gets really good at sword fighting. She wants to be a knight, but her dad's like, well, I say her dad, but it's the red cap. Her, stepdad, I guess. Is like, no, you're not a killer. You're not made for this. And she's like, watch me, fool. And she ends up making some deals and she gets power. And then she gets a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really good. And you see a relationship start to form with Jude and Carden, who is the prince. And it's a very enemies to lovers trope, and it's
Very
fantastically done. And my favorite thing about Holly Black is she could have taken Jude and made her fall in love with some 900-year-old fae, right? As they do.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah J. Maas.
The field of love.
But
Called out.
instead, Carden is he's a teenager.
He's a baby.
He is a teenager through and through. He is literally only, I don't know, he's 17 in the book. He is still such a baby.
Especially for Faye.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And he still has that kind of mentality, So much. He's like a spoiled, rotten child.
He knows everything and is immortal.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And she's like, no, boo.
He's also very mean in the books. I tell you what,
very mean.
I really did hate him in the beginning of this book. I think it took me a while to finish this to start the second book because I was just like,
no, I was in love with him in the first one.
I just don't even. Maybe it was by the end of the. I don't know. I can't really
by the
remember.
end of the book, by the end of the first one,
When they're in the,
they're starting.
Yeah,
It's when it's
okay. So
starting.
maybe I was just like, whatever. I don't.
Yeah, you may have
I
not
think
liked him, but I think that you wanted to know what was going to happen.
Yeah. But I think it did take me a minute to read the second book.
Yeah. Okay, so not to give away spoilers, but Jude ends up tricking Carden into stuff, right? So the second book is called The Wicked King, and it still is focusing on Jude and Carden and what they're doing in the Fae Court and stuff like that. And she's like still rising to power and like doing all this different stuff. And by the end of the book, he ends up tricking her back.
Oh.
And she gets sent back to the human world. And she is mad.
Livid.
So, yeah.
Murder.
Yeah. Yeah. The third one, obviously, I haven't read it yet because I didn't mention that, but I've already read it before. But she comes back. She manages to come back to Elfheim. And crazy things happen.
Man.
And she has to murder people.
Murder.
She gets really good at it, though. She gets really good at killing people.
Oh, my God. I love Jude. Ah,
Yeah.
I love her so much.
Like, my background on my computer is from that book, and it says, instead of being scared, I could be something to fear. And that's, like, a quote from her. Because she's like, yeah, if they want to... Like, at one point, she tells Carden, you may bring me down. She's like, but I will bring you down with me because remember, I'm just a dumb human that's going to die. And you're like, oh, burn.
She got no fear.
She doesn't.
I mean, she has fear, but she uses
scared,
that
and she's
to
like,
power through.
Yeah.
It's awesome. She is such a badass.
It's really, really good. Anyway,
Also, Carden is our favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Carden
Love
is
him.
Carden is everything.
Yeah. Love him.
So, yeah. I guess I'll go next.
Okay.
So I don't know if you remember me telling you this, but I read a book called The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramis. And it is about a girl who is like a spy for the queen of this kingdom. And she's called the Queen's Eyes. And she just blends into everything. She's like tiny but fierce. Basically, I mean, she's not really tiny, but she is, if that makes sense. And the magic system in this world is really cool. And this is an enemy still of hers.
I love them.
But I'm not gonna spoil that. But anyway, Will gives off strong Carden vibes. Like strong Carden. It's such a good book. And it's a new book. And I'm sorry that I have to wait for book number 2. But I'm not sorry that I read it because my review is exactly, Will has some major Carden energy. That is all.
I love that. It says violent romances.
Oh my God. It was so good. So yeah, there's this type of magic and not everybody has it. And it's essentially like there are different kinds of the magic. And so there's like, I can't remember the names for them, but you can control somebody's feelings. And that's like emotional or like physical. You can make them think that they're on fire. You can make them feel like they're drowning. Hers is like, you can also have like fire. You can have ice, like all these. And usually you have like you are only allowed to have one type of power. And there's prophecy of like there's eventually supposed to be a saint that returns and basically rights the biggest wrong. And the biggest wrong everyone thinks is the fact that there's a type of these magic users that want to have all of the types of magic. And that is basically blasphemy and heresy in this world. And a whole big plot comes about. And it's kind of alluded to the queen's inner circle. So she is the queen's eyes. Will is the queen's right hand. And her best friend is the queen's general.
That is not what I thought you were going to say. You were naming body parts. I was like, wow.
I mean, I guess we could call her the Fist. I mean, I don't know. I just whatever. Anyway, so yeah, her name is Tova, I think. This is it. It goes wild. Everything blows up, and you're just like, what? You have to. Oh man, a lot happens in this book. I was so angry for a lot of this book because I could not believe that I was having to listen to the main character struggle with listening to her best friend be tortured. Like,
dang.
It was rough. I was so mad. So I'm not going to say anything else, but man, you guys have to read it. It is so, so good.
When the second one comes out.
No.
Yeah.
Just do it now.
No.
Just do it.
I'm
Just
not
do it
reading
now.
book at night until the second one comes out.
Hey, I'm reading it soon.
Yeah.
I do have it in whatever it's called.
Yeah, I know.
It's downloaded. It's ready to go. I just haven't picked up a book yet. Like,
Have you remembered yet?
No, I think there's one I know I listened to that I didn't talk about last time, but I think the reason don't have anything new is because I was taking notes on The Soul of an Octopus and then rereading the Nora Roberts, and I did the Murderbot one, and then there's one I can't remember. That's the one that's
You did a Terry Pratchett one, didn't you?
Oh, maybe that's it. Equal Rights. That was a good one.
oh yeah.
It's about the first woman wizard. And she has very Tiffany Aching vibes.
Love that.
I love her.
Yeah, it's definitely worth the read. And it deals with like the stereotypes of that's a man's job or this is a woman's job and how only men can do this and only women can do that. You know, it's really good. And Granny Weatherwax is in it, so
Oh, I love Granny.
yeah, she's good. But that's the one. That's the one I forgot.
Ha-ha.
Yay! I'm glad somebody remembered.
I just remember seeing it in Libby
Yeah,
because we all share the same Libby on.
I'm like, and I returned it, and I can't remember what it was now. And I did start. I had started listening to The Art of Racing in the Rain, which I was a little bit hesitant because there's a dog on the cover, and right at the beginning, the dog is really sick.
No.
So I'm like, oh no. So
I'm out.
But if it ends the way the dog wants it to end, it'll be cool. But I'm only like on chapter 5, so I have no idea.
I'm already like crying, so no thank you. By the way, the second book to Curse of Saints comes out in June, so.
Okay, look at that. See, maybe I'll start it in like April. Yeah.
It's so good.
After Minicon.
I'm so
After
excited.
Minicon, yes. After Minicon.
I'm so excited.
All right, Zach.
Art of Racing in the Rain, just FYI, is a fantastic little book. I absolutely loved it when I read it.
Did it end well?
I really like the ending.
Okay.
I think that actually the ending
That means nothing.
made the
Have
book
you read
a
some
lot
of
better.
the
Okay.
books that Zach reads?
But it starts out like, oh no, you're like, there's a dog on the
Well,
cover. This
you'll
is not going to
see.
end well. Yeah,
It's like
I know.
fairy
the
tale
whole
when we were
story,
like, does the dog live?
the whole story is told from the dog's perspective. So
Yeah. So it's
of
good.
course,
I mean,
there's a dog
yeah.
on the cover.
he's so mad that he doesn't have thumbs and a tongue that can form speech.
Yep.
I feel that.
Oh, that for us today, that would be a good thing.
Yeah.
The tongue that doesn't form
I really
speech.
understand today,
I
yeah.
struggle.
Yeah.
All right. So let me see here. My first book I wanted to talk about is called A Psalm for the Wild Built, which is by Becky Chambers. Did I
Oh.
talk about this one already? I don't think so.
I don't.
No.
Not on this. I think you mentioned it, or Chantel mentioned it to me.
Yeah. So this is
But-
part of our 12 months of books gifts thingy. This is the first one. Second one, actually, I just got into Wolf Song. I haven't read it yet, though.
That
Anyway,
sounds familiar.
It's TJ Klune.
it's
Oh,
TJ
okay,
Klune's
okay.
book. Yeah, the one that I got
I
signed
almost
recently.
bought that the other day.
Yeah.
Almost. I ended up buying all those other books I told you about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I get you. I actually just bought a bunch of books yesterday. I bought like 5 Dresden Files books. They were all in hardback, and 2 of them were signed. One of them is signed to Jerry. I don't know who Jerry is.
Man, Jerry's lucky.
It was from a used bookstore, so I was like, okay, I
Why
can be
did
Jerry
Jerry
for
get
this.
rid of
Would you
it?
get
Did
rid of
Jerry die?
That
Or-
must be the only reason.
Oh, what the heck? Could have been like a bad relationship breakup. It's like, I'll get you.
And
Man,
then, just took his book. Yeah.
My
no, I mean,
girlfriend would die.
I would have just kept it for myself. Like, my name's Jerry now.
it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that was Small Favor I picked up for that one. And then one of the other ones I got, like, the two most recent ones, which I didn't have physical copies of. Anyway. So A Psalm for the Wild Built is about it's sort of like, it's on a different planet, and it's basically, you have this society which is, it's very like green oriented now, as in like very much into recycling and self-sustainability and stuff like that. And the main character is what is called a tea monk. He's a monk that basically got tired of being a monk that, like, tended gardens and stuff. So I'm saying it's a they. In fact, they don't say whether it's physically male or female the whole time. So it's just they, which is a little confusing at times because just the wording makes it seem like it's multiple people, but it's not multiple people. It's just them. Anyway, they become a tea monk, go around, they go out into the woods, and they meet a robot. And the robots in this world used to be part of like doing factory assembly type stuff, right? But then they all became sentient and decided to leave. So they all left and just went out into the woods. And it's basically one of them comes back, meets with Dex, who's the main character, the tea monk, and Moscap, the robot. Its mission is to go out and figure out what humans need, because they haven't seen any humans for a long time. The robots, it's been hundreds of years. They don't say an exact time in the book. And they think they need to figure out what's going on to make sure that the humans are all good and happy and healthy and all that stuff. They know they're still alive because they can use their satellites, and they see, like, smoke and lights from far away, but they haven't actually interacted with the humans for a long time. And the way the robots work is kind of interesting. So you think robots immortal, right? Live forever.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is too much of a spoiler. One of the things that they have decided to do is that when they start to wear out, they don't fix themselves unless they can, like, just move stuff around inside their body. They don't, like, make new parts or whatever. They just let themselves die, and when they die, they get reassembled into new robots. And the reason Moscap is called Moscap is because that's the first thing he saw when he became, like, conscious, was a Moscap. So it's an interesting little book.
I do too.
It's a very cozy little read. Dex and Moscap have a fun little adventure together. They become friends, and you get to read a lot about just sort of, I don't know, their emotions, their thoughts on life, the difference between the humans and the robots. And to some degree, it sounds a lot like the robots have a much more, I don't know, chill zen sort of view on life in general. And it talks about how Dex, in this case, doesn't know what they want to do. They just need purpose in their life, but can't figure out what that purpose is. And it keeps, like, fleeting from them, basically. It goes over a lot of these issues, and it's complex. And I read the second book as well, and it continues on the story. I'm not sure why it wasn't just one book. Like, I mean, they're very short. But they're both good little books. And I would suggest that everybody read them, because Becky Chambers is a fantastic author, and it makes you think about stuff.
What was the title again?
A Psalm for the Wild Built.
Yeah, it's on my TBR.
Okay.
It's a
Wasn't
pretty
sure
good
I was
little book
hearing it
series.
right.
Psalm.
I'm not
like,
entirely sure if there's going to be a third one. Yeah, Psalm.
P-S-A-L-M.
P-S-A-L-M.
I wasn't sure if I heard song or some, or it took him like, wait a minute.
No, it's
I didn't get
a
that.
hard one. Yeah,
Mhm.
but it's a good little book series. I've read both of those ones. They're very fast reads, like less than. I think the first one's less than 100 pages. I can find out. A psalm For the
Thank you.
Wild Bills. Yeah, there you go. Psalm.
Psalm.
What sound?
Oh, no, it's
it just
160
sounded like it blended.
pages. It's longer than I thought. It's 160 pages, but it's still, you can read this, sit down and read in like a couple, 3 hours. It's
Yeah.
very fun, cozy little book. The world is very interesting. The world building is very interesting. You get more of that in the second book. But the characters in this they're fantastic. We really like the characters in it.
I love it when you like the characters.
Oh, yeah.
When you get attached to them. And
Yeah.
And according to Goodreads, readers also enjoy Legends and Lattes and All Systems Red. So there you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
If
Nice.
you like either of those books, you'll probably like this one.
Oh, well, look at that. Still have to read it. It's on my list. And since it's short, I'll probably try to read it. Maybe that could be my deep dive.
I would do both of
I
them
love
as a
it.
deep dive, not just the first one.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm trying to find short books. I really kind of want to do a graphic novel as a deep dive because we haven't reviewed one of those really.
we haven't.
A graphic novel.
Oh,
I think we should branch out and do other genres and other things.
We did Mouse.
We'll see.
Yeah, we did do Mouse. That's right. We did do Mouse.
Yeah. Did we deep dive that or did we just talk about it? It's a nonfiction.
Yeah,
It was somebody's nonfiction pick. Was it my nonfiction
that's what
pick?
it was.
I think it was yours.
Yeah.
It's good though. All right. Anyways, are you done talking about your book?
I just got one more
That'll
thing
be-
to say about it.
I was going to
And
say, since
that's
we got
the-
distracted for a minute.
I think this is the Spanish version or something like that. Has the coolest cover. I don't actually know.
I actually ordered a Spanish book one time. Nobody could read it.
Well, somebody who
I-
read Spanish could read it.
Well, we didn't have anybody come in to get it, so I sent it back
That's
and
fair.
got the English version. That one went out a lot better.
You probably have more people who can speak English in Ripley.
Yeah, yeah,
Probably.
we're pretty small. Yeah,
All right. Well, I guess me again.
yes.
I guess.
Okay. So one of the books I just recently finished is called Trailer Park Trickster.
Yeah.
And I think to talk about this one, I kind of need to talk about White Trash Warlock first.
I was going to say, is this a sequel to White Trash Warlock?
It
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
the next
Twash
one, the third
trash.
one, Twash.
Yeah,
It's
White Trash.
the third one's called Deadbeat Druid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So White Trash Warlock is about this guy named Adam. He is a warlock. Surprise, surprise. When he was growing up, his dad was gone. They said that he ran off. You find out later that's not the case.
Spoiler.
I don't feel like that's a big deal.
It is.
You think it is?
Yes.
I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
It's a big reveal.
I don't think so. Anyway.
But was it predictable like the end of Fourth Wing?
I mean, I think it was predictable. I never
didn't
read
think
Fourth
so.
Wing, but anyways, so his brother and his mom ship him off to this, like, what is essentially like an insane asylum called Liberty House, and he ends up leaving there and going to live with his Aunt Sue, who does tarot readings, and he kind of learns, magic from her. Well, fast forwards into the future, and his brother is living in Denver, and his mom goes to go help take care of his brother's, it's fiance. They're not actually married yet.
They're married.
Are they married?
Yeah.
Okay, so his wife. Because she's like sick. There's something wrong with her. Well, Adam ends up going from Oklahoma to Denver, Colorado to help his brother out because his brother calls him. He's like, and he doesn't talk to his brother, doesn't really talk to his mom, but his brother called and asked for help, and he's like, that's kind of weird. So he goes to see what it is. There's like this giant entity thing in Denver that has got all these like little different tendrils out, and it essentially sucks the life out of people that it puts its little tendrils into, right? While
As
he's
you
there,
do.
he ends up, as you do, yes.
I think we have one of those.
I think so.
I think so too. I think it's affecting
We need
us.
Adam. Anyways, so while he's there, he ends up meeting this cop named Vicente. Is that it?
Mhm.
and he goes by Vic. But Vic almost dies, and Adam like gives him some life force, and Vic ends up becoming a Reaper for death.
Spoiler!
You can't not say it when I'm going to talk about the second book.
You just talk about things.
I can't just talk about things. I didn't say how he got almost killed. I didn't say who Death is. I didn't say what he's done.
Death is Bill.
Death is not Bill.
I tell you what.
Yes, it is.
I like Death in this book, but it's
The
not
only
Bill.
real death is Bill.
That's right.
But anyways, so long story short, Adam ends up beating this entity with the help of Vic, who is a Reaper. I have to
Also a spoiler.
I didn't say how they beat it.
It's like, I don't know. In this book, I don't know how you would become a Reaper, so it's not really.
See?
It's actually really cool.
See?
Kind of.
Don't say a word. Don't say a word.
Hey.
Spoiler alert.
It is a spoiler. I talked about all three of these, and I said no spoilers.
I cannot do that.
We
so.
know.
I think everybody is prepared for spoilers when I talk.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
They are really good.
I'm leaving so much of this story out.
There is a lot.
The
surprising.
second book is Adam goes back to Oklahoma because she's going to yell at me. I can already see it. His Aunt Sue dies.
It's very sad.
Yeah, he takes the hard hit with that one. She ends up like having a heart attack and dying. All right. Well, his cousins like end up moving into this house, and he doesn't talk to his cousins either.
Like immediately. This is the beginning of book 2.
This is the very, very beginning, and immediately the trailer explodes.
Yeah.
Like it starts off.
It's wild.
Yeah, right. And he goes in to save one of his cousins.
No, his aunt.
I thought they were both his cousins because his Aunt Sue's daughter.
Well, I guess, yeah, that is.
So it's his cousin and then like his second cousin. Because your cousin's kid is your second cousin.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's how that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But doesn't he call her aunt anyway?
Yeah, because she's older.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah. So she's his cousin, but it's like an aunt. Anyways, he goes in to save her. To get her out of the trailer. Can't find the younger cousin, Jody. There's Noreen and Jody. Noreen's the older one.
Oh, Jody.
Yeah. All right. So while he's leaving the trailer, a druid kind of blocks his way, right? And he can tell that this druid is the same druid that he's been hunting, right? And he's to the point, he's like, if I have to shove him out of the way, I will to get her out.
Yeah.
Right? Can't find Jody. All right, anyways. So the police investigate and they think, it was a meth lab. And that's why it blew up. But they found human remains in there. So the cops are like, what is going on? Because there's like old human bones.
Set up in his old room as like
satanic witchcraft.
Yeah, it looks like real suspicious.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So like the cops involved through the entire book. He's like, what is going on with your family?
Yeah.
So this book is about Adam trying to defeat this druid. And Vic is working with elves. That they're friends with. Adam used to date an elf.
Okay.
And now Adam is dating Vic.
Yeah.
And now Vic is trying to work with Adam's ex-boyfriend. It's a whole mess. But
it is a whole mess.
essentially, there's two stories in one that kind of can join at the end. Right? So Vic is like working with these elves, and the elves want to essentially drown the entire world and kill all humans. So he's trying
not all elves. It's
the sea elves,
Yeah.
and then the king of the other elves.
Vic was working with
the elves.
two of them to not
kill
do
us.
that. Yeah.
And then Adam's trying to hunt the druid
Mhm.
and, protect the people he cares about. And then everything goes wrong at the end.
Very wrong.
Oh, funniest part, and this is not a spoiler, I wouldn't think, but there's a band. Okay, this is a very, very redneck books, all right? Like trailer parks, meth labs, there is a band that performs out of a double wide, and they're called the Chlamydia Clowns.
And Jody dates one of the guys or like one of the roadies or something for them.
Yeah.
I think I'd be afraid to be in the same vicinity.
Adam comes in to like check on his cousin Jody, and she's like high on the couch, and her boyfriend comes in. He's like, "Is this guy messing with you?" And he's like, "Dude, you're wearing clown makeup." He's like, "Yeah, and I'll beat you."
It was very funny.
So yeah, it's fun.
It is very fun. I will say book 3 is not
She says
as
it's
fun.
not.
It's hard. Like it's a rough one. It has a lot of feels in it. A lot of feels. It's a good trilogy though. I really, really like it. Highly recommend it. It's a nice, like, easy series. Kept me intrigued. Like the 3rd book is the most high stakes of them all. But
Yeah, I'm not ready for that, so we're gonna put it off.
yeah.
I tried to get my book club to read this at work, and they chose The Road by Cormac McCarthy instead. Such a disappointment.
Rude of them. But they'll learn from their mistakes. Eventually, maybe, hopefully. Okay, so my only other book I've read since our last book chat is The Nature of Witches by Rachel
Oh, isn't it
Griffin.
good?
Yeah, I really liked it. I got kind of mad with Clara, the main character, a lot of the book just because she didn't trust herself, which, like, fine, fair, whatever. So witches are like seasons. So there's obviously summer, autumn, winter, and spring. And whenever you're in one season, that season's witches are the strongest. And so, like, they control the weather, but the weather is not always just, like, seasonal. There are things that happen sometimes that, like, summers are better at, what is it, like, wind or something like that? No, that's winter. Summers are better at, I think, like, thunder and lightning or something.
I think it's
know.
that. Yeah.
So really big storms like that, summers usually help the best with it, but they burn out a lot sooner. And if you burn out, you die. And it doesn't happen a whole lot because they train all of them at different schools to be able to do this stuff so that they can all be better at it. But there have been a lot of stuff, a lot of weather things happening that are draining a lot of witches way too soon. And like more witches are dying than they have seen in centuries. And so it's kind of just like, holy crap. And
It's
Clara,
today.
Yeah.
In the world today.
Yeah. So Clara is an Everwitch. So she is actually powerful in all 4 seasons. And she essentially turns into like a winter witch, a spring witch,
Which means
summer
her
witch.
personality changes.
Yeah. Her personality changes, like what she's strongest with changes. And she's the only one. Like, she is the only Everwitch, and there hasn't been one since, like, what, like 100 years or something?
Yeah.
Before?
It's been a while.
Yeah. And so not a lot is known about Everwitches. So they're trying to train her, but she doesn't like her power because her power killed her parents whenever she was little. And then it has also killed 2 of her best friends.
One.
Or just one?
One.
Just one. Yeah. Yeah. And so, and that was at school. That was like very recent. And so
Yeah.
she just really is, it's like very traumatic, obviously. So she struggles a lot with trying to suppress her powers. So she doesn't think that she's very powerful, but she is. But she also is like, I can't be friends with people. I can't love people because my power goes after them and, you know, kills them. And I don't want to kill people. So how can I, you know, like I have to seclude myself. I have to be alone on campus. I have to live by myself in this cottage off campus. You know, everything. Like I can't have friends. I can't like, you know, I can have flings, whatever, but it can't mean anything ever. And you just kind of follow her. Yeah, a lot of stuff happens. A lot of feels. I got very frustrated with her a lot because she started coming into her own. And then she second-guessed herself and started all over again. And I was like, Clara, baby, we gotta quit. just love yourself, quit it. But yeah, it's a really, really good book. And I highly recommend it. I love the magic system a lot. Like it's really cool. I love magic systems that don't feel similar to other things already. And that one is different. I really liked it a lot.
You should try Jim Butcher's the Calderon series.
Yeah.
It's
That's
a
an
different
interesting
type of-
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to read more of his books. I also really want to restart Dresden. So
Same.
Or anything by Brandon Sanderson. Every single one of his books has a crazy, unique magic system, and they're all very
Yeah.
good.
yeah,
I mean, you read Mistborn, right? So
I did. Yes, and I
That's one,
do
and
need to
none of the other ones are
continue
like the-
that series. I do need to continue that series. I made it past book 2 finally.
I haven't even started book 2.
I hope you like it better than I did.
I'm sure
It was a really good story. It was a really good story. I just hate what he did to her. Like, I hate it. It made me so mad. I'm still mad about it. I gotta quit.
Do you have another book to talk about, Mama?
I have one I'm listening to right now. Columbus Day. It's the one I talked about before about the alien invasion.
Oh,
where you're
yeah,
fighting the
yeah, yeah,
hamsters.
yeah.
And like, it's like, I mean, it is very, the characters are very kind of like almost redneck. I mean, they're very, very military minded. You know, they want the big toys and all the
Yeah.
rail guns and the laser blasters, but they don't get it. They just get it like a adapted AK-47, which you're kind of disappointed about. You know, they're not getting the really cool stuff.
Yeah.
They're kind of mad about that, but they're off world right now, and I don't think they've had their first real battle. They've had some like practice battles where they're just learning their stuff, and the one that the guy was in, the main character, I mean, they got killed from space like within the first 5 minutes, and they had to sit there and wait out the entire battle.
Dang.
They didn't do anything, so they're kind of bummed about that. But
That's rough.
apparently, this book is currently, I think it's free on Audible until the end of the month.
what's up?
The book you're talking about, Columbus Day,
Yeah, so I'm listening to it on Audible.
It's free on Audible?
until the end of the month.
Pulling out our phones.
Double check. I mean, it is for me. It says
It's
included
like-
until 2/29.
It's called Columbus Day.
Yeah. It's a whole series. It's
Expeditionary
like not
Force,
just.
Book 1.
Allinson.
I mean, it's crazy. It is.
Good grief. The whole series. Wait, maybe.
Well,
No.
the first one anyway.
No, just the first one, yeah.
If we ever talk about this one, Clay would like to be part of it, I believe.
Did you hear my stomach just
Is that
now?
what that
That's what
was?
that was. Holy crap.
It sounded like the coffee maker.
It was my stomach.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Dear Lord, how many books are in it?
Oh, there's a bunch.
16.
Yeah.
Dang.
Wow.
I mean, it's like when they first starts, they have to find a vehicle to get out of, because they capture a hamster and they're trying to get away with him and turn him over to the military or whoever, the authorities. And the only thing they can find that works is a ice cream truck with Barney on it.
Oh, I love
So to
So-
put the
I mean,
ice
it's
cream
like- it's
truck
that-
music.
Probably.
I
I
love
mean, it's like, I
you.
think they had to turn it off because I think they actually tore it up because it was like they were trying to sneak and get away, and it's, you know,
And
playing
blaring
music.
ice cream music.
But
Oh my
anyway,
God.
they're just funny. I mean, I don't think there's any like great moral. There hasn't been a great moral, you know,
Yeah.
values to it yet. It's just funny. It's just a
Fun.
a
It's
fun
like
thing.
a nice
That's
chill
good.
read.
which is nice.
That's great.
So, but anyway, Clay would like, he's read all of them. I think he's up to date. So he would like to talk about that if we ever talk
Totally,
about that one.
yeah. Oh, it's apparently the readers also enjoyed We Are Legion, We Are Bob, which is a fantastic book series as well.
I have the first one. I haven't started it, though.
Oh, it's very good. It's very good. Dennis E. Taylor is a good writer. He's kind
Have
of
you talked about that one before, Zach?
fun.
Is that on your demands list or something?
I think it's on my demands list, maybe, but I haven't
Okay,
talked about
I was
it
like,
on
that
the podcast.
sounds
as
really
far as I know.
familiar, but I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's what it is.
I've definitely told you guys about it before. I don't think I've talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, I got in Dungeon Crawler Carl, by
Oh,
the way.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll give and Monsters a fan's dilemma. Is that what it
Mhm.
is? Anyway, we have actually
Yes,
those
Monsters, a Fan's
copies
Dilemma.
here at the library. Yep.
So pick those up because
you're
we're going to be
trying to
reading
talk
them
about a
soon,
book.
guys.
That's right.
I know. All right. So my next book, it's Orconomics by somebody. It's by J. Zachary Pike. It's part of a series, but okay, so Orconomics. Like economics,
orca,
but with orc at the front. No, orc. Like an orc.
Orc. Orc.
Okay. I was
Not
about
an
to
orca,
say,
but an orc. Okay.
Not
Gotcha.
an orca. No, it's like economics, but with orc in the front.
Gonna say it's right up my alley.
why am I a little bit disappointed though?
Not orcas, no. They don't hollow them out or fly them or anything like that.
No, not that. Not
Oh.
that. Just like orcas.
That's probably the reason the orcas are attacking boats in the
Yeah. Oh, that is.
in the Mediterranean.
Ariel gave them
See,
the
look
idea.
at that. Look at that.
Oh
That's
my.
funny.
Anyway, Orconomics. It's got like very serious Terry Pratchett vibes. It's a satire about like a fantasy world, and the basic premise is you have a world in which there are heroes who go, and there's a heroes guild, and they go out and they like do missions or whatever. They kill monsters, and people before they go out will send out like an assessor to figure out sort of like how much loot they think is there. And then you have investors who will fund the mission, and then they are doing this by basically buying shares in the loot hoard, right? Percentages of the loot hoard. So this is very much a satire on capitalism just in general. It felt very like the U.S. or just at least the West in some way. And the main character is a dwarf who used to be part of the Heroes Guild, but he got kicked out and he's hunted now. And he's given a mission to go and get these elven marbles, is what they call them. And you find out what they actually are later, but they're like, it's like a fetch quest. It's like a very easy quest that they needed to do. And it's about basically him being very cynical about the whole hero process in general, but also trying to like, get back into the guild so that he can like restore his good name and whatnot. And I don't know, like I said, it gives you very much Terry Pratchett vibes. You've got like these oppressed people who are all the Shadowkin is what they're called, and they can get these NPC papers which allow them to like not be hunted and killed, but every Shadowkin that doesn't have these papers can be. And Shadowkin are basically like orcs and goblins and all those type of things.
It sounds
And
kind of cool.
Yeah, it does.
it's an interesting little book. I enjoyed reading it. I don't think it's as good as most of the Terry Pratchett books, but I mean, this is the first one in the series, and like A Color of Magic is not that great, honestly.
True.
So I'm assuming, like as time goes along, if he expands out this world, I mean, it could get a lot better. I still gave it 4 stars. I think it was a really fun book to read, and I liked all the characters in it. But it needs a little bit more, I think, at some point. It's got 4.32 on Goodreads, so apparently I'm wrong, but, it's a very good book series. I mean, very good book, at least. I'm reading the second one right now. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say about it without spoiling anything, It's just fun.
There's this. Okay, so I'm scrolling while Zach's talking, right? And there's this survey that was done. Apparently, West Virginia says, "I love you more than any other state in the country."
That tracks for us.
Yep.
And that's sweet. I love that for us. Like, look at that. We're the only one
Wow.
that's pink, like that
Wow.
dark pink.
This is very good for, an audio podcast, talking about a map, presumably.
Hey, I can share it.
You could share it.
Screenshot.
Hey, I'm gonna share it to our group and be like, "We love y'all."
We do
Well, I
the
guess
kiss,
one
kiss.
thing I didn't mention is that the reason why the main character, his name is Gorm Ingerson. The reason
I
he
love
is
that name.
in this
That's a great
Gorm
name.
Ingerson, yeah. The reason he's in this doing this new quest is so that he can obviously get back his reputation as a hero. But he's chosen to go on this thing basically because people needed him to help fulfill this stupid prophecy, because there's this goddess called the Mad Goddess Almatra, and she is apparently actually crazy and just every single time that they've tried to do this quest beforehand, everybody has died. So he's chosen because they're like, he's expendable, basically. And
Lovely.
yeah. It was like, he's going to die. But then it ends up being really easy. And then stuff happens.
That makes
Also, there's a lot of talk about economics.
It's always suspicious when it's really easy.
Yeah.
That's what he said. It's like, the whole thing was too easy. Yeah, there's lots of talk of economics and, like, you know, shares and stuff like that in this, which is kind of funny because it's in a fantasy world. So you hear people talking about that stuff, and it's like
economics.
a little
I
note
took
or
an
something.
economics class, and it was the worst. The worst class ever.
Oh, this is funny.
Mine. Mhm. When I think back on my economics class, it was funny because I had a 15% at my midterm.
That sounds like me.
That was a C. That was a C. He had to scale so much because nobody was getting what he was talking about that was a C.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's kind of
15%.
impressive because, I mean, if you
That's
teach,
wild.
if you teach economics, fine. It's not hard. You mean,
This one was.
All the
It's
stuff
like
they
he
do
would
is fairly
start writing on
basic.
a board, and it was bad. It was bad. There was like 50 people in this class, and a 15% was a C.
Wow.
Think
it's
about
pretty
that.
bad.
That's bad.
I didn't learn anything.
Wow.
That's apparent.
Yeah.
Well, that was rude.
That was me.
It's true, though. Unfortunately. And that's all
You're
I do
just
now.
mean today.
Is like finances. That's all I do. I work in finances all the time.
You should have paid more attention
Drives me
or
crazy.
gotten a different
I
teacher,
should
I
have.
guess.
Well, you know, well, he got suspended, I think, after that.
Gosh.
Because he couldn't teach.
I mean,
Yeah,
with grades
that
like
was
that, I
it.
could understand that. Like, it's just a waste.
I don't even know how I got the 15%, to be perfectly honest. Maybe I wrote my name on the paper. I don't know.
Oh my
It
God.
was pretty bad.
You wrote some stuff
Okay,
down.
well, I have one
As
more
long as
book
it's
to talk
writing on the
about.
page.
Maybe I wrote sloppy and he couldn't really read it. I don't know.
I'll give her credit for that.
Yeah.
So the book that I am currently reading, I bought just the other day. It's called Thorn Hedge
Oh, yeah.
by T. Kingfisher, who I love. And it is a Sleeping Beauty retelling, but not in the way that you would think. Right? It's the main character is Toadling, and she is a toad-like creature, toad-like girl. She has like a toad face and green hair and like mushroom-colored skin that bruises easily
Oh.
and black tears, like Faye. But she can transform
What
into
kind of
a
mushroom?
toad. A tan one.
All right.
I would say like a
Always
grayish
good to
looking
know.
tan. Yeah, probably. That's what I thought of.
Yeah. So
What if it was like red?
she was tasked with guarding the keep where the girl sleeps. Right. So she stays in the like thorn hedge around the keep. And it's been like she's been there for like 500 to 600 years.
Oh my.
How
Yeah.
boring would that get?
Yeah, she says that she got to where she didn't keep track of time anymore. She watched people come and go. She watched them build a road. She watched a plague come, and nobody's showing up for like 200 years. But she doesn't realize how long time is passing, during these times until a knight shows up. And he ends up befriending her. And he's like, and she's like, you just need to go. You just need to go.
Suspicious.
And he's
already.
like, no, I love him.
No, okay.
And he's like, I can't leave. He's like, I'm not a very good knight. And I read a story in a book about this place. And I finally found it after so many years of researching. Like, huge nerd. He's a nerd.
Okay.
And she's like, you just need to leave. And he's like, well, if I leave, will you come with me? And she's like, I can't. And he's like, if you don't trust me, I understand. I'll take you to my mother. She's a great woman, and she's like, I didn't say I wouldn't. She said, I can't. And he's like, do you have magic keeping you here? And she used that kind of as like an opening. And she's like, yeah, that's what it is. And so he comes back after like a week. He leaves and comes back and he tries to break her curse. Like, he's the sweetest little thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she finally is like, realizes that he's not going to leave until he goes and looks in this keep just because he's so curious. So she's like, okay. And she like tells him, she's like, if we survive this, I'll tell you everything. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually want to read this one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really good. It is really, really good.
Some of the other ones you guys read, I'm not so sure about, but this one I really want to read.
This one's good. And it's 111 pages.
Oh, I could do that.
It's a short one. And I'm on page 69. And this is like me leaving out super spoilers. So
I will say, I really do want to read more of her.
fantasy.
Yes, thank you. And we also found that she has children's books.
Yep.
Oh,
under
really?
a different name, but yes. I'm excited about that.
Yep.
We're going to find them.
I kind of expect to see them on an order soon.
Oh, yes. We like her.
We need to get this book. We don't have it, do we?
No, I didn't even know about it.
We need more of her fantasy for sure,
So.
because I have A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking on there.
Oh, how hilarious.
She has Paladin's Grace, which is a series, and that sounds really fun. There's like Sword Heart, Clockwork Boys. Is that? That one's going to be a fantasy. The World of the White Rat series. I don't know. Anyway, she has a bunch of like really fun and cool sounding fantasy books.
We'll have to start a
And
list.
I do love how she writes.
I do too. Like, I've never been one for the Sleeping Beauty story. Like, that's just not something that I was really into, but I love this retelling of it.
You know, I'll say one of my favorite Sleeping Beauty retellings we actually have in the YA section. It's called Spindle's End. And it is kind of like Maleficent, like the story that way. It's so good. Oh my God. I read it in high school and I've been obsessed with it ever since. That one's by Robin McKinley.
I don't know how you remember these people's names.
I loved that book.
I can't even remember the titles sometimes. And the author.
I don't remember the plot. I just got the vibes.
I was so excited whenever I came, like whenever I started working here and I went through and like I saw that, I was like,
Is there a series of them?
Well, it's a standalone, but there's
Okay.
a couple of other ones that she has.
What
I think that are the
retellings of-
fairy tale.
okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
think so. And I think we have a couple of them. I don't think that we have, I don't know how many she has actually. Like that was the only one I read because I read it in high school and I never looked for it again. I don't know why. Sounds like me though.
Yep. Well, that was all my books. I'm
Yep.
done.
I've been done.
Zach?
I don't have anything else books wise aside from going to NorwestCon, and guess who's going to be there as the writer guest of honor?
I know because you told me, but go ahead.
Our boy Jim Butcher going to be there.
I'm going to punch you in the face. I'm going to punch you
You
right
better
in the
buy me a
face.
signed book there, too.
Well, we'll see. I don't actually know if they're going to do book signings or sell signed books there. Apparently in the past they haven't, so I will let you guys know when I find out. But the dude at the university bookstore told me about it, and he's apparently friends with all of the big authors and stuff like that. So pretty chill guy.
there's our
But
Please, can you please tell him that we love him and would love to have him on the podcast?
Yeah, you better tell him.
It's a
that
library.
would actually be kind of
Like-
fun. I'll talk to him next time I go there and see
Like
if he wants to be on.
seriously, I would probably cry for a whole day, maybe more.
Yeah.
Like happy tears, but
Who, Jim Butcher? If we got him on?
yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah. I'm not going to ask him there.
Even just
but,
to
yeah.
talk to him.
No.
Like, I don't even care if we can record.
I just wanted to
Like,
say, hi, Ariel. And
Yeah.
I can be like,
yeah.
and live off that high for the
And
rest
I
of my
just
life.
also need to tell him that he's in trouble for what he's done to me. But that's it. Like,
yeah.
like,
Be like,
I love him.
you, but also I want to smack you across the
how
face.
dare you? You wrote the best books ever. How dare you ruin me like that?
We'll see. We'll see what
So
I can
anyway,
do.
yeah.
We'll start weaseling my way in.
That
Yeah,
would
give
be
us some
like
time because we probably have to get better equipment.
the dream.
Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, my
They told me-
mobile recording stuff is pretty... It's the same stuff you guys have, but, you know, without the background noise.
I want to go visit you if we get a good author on. Because I feel
so
like
that you can.
I can meet him too.
Podcast road trip.
Yes. I think that needs to be a thing. Can that be a thing?
Yeah,
Danny
the way-
did say he would take us on a tour of
Yeah.
Trans-Allegheny or whatever.
Yeah. He said he would take us and do a ghost hunt with us. We could take our little pog track and get those little. We could get those little mics that you just like.
We have those.
The little lapel ones. Yeah.
We have lapel mics.
What?
Did you
just, well, it's a good thing we've just learned this.
Yeah, you guys have lapel mics. I've seen them.
We got them with the sound system.
Oh, we did. Not us plotting immediately.
We need to find people that can work when we're gone.
Yeah. Someone
Having
needs to
3
figure that
people off at the same time is like half the staff.
It is.
out. Bring Ravens, whatever.
If we could do it, we can do it on a weekend.
Yeah,
There
long
we go.
weekend. Long weekend.
Yeah.
Record our podcast and leave immediately after.
Oh man, their eyes are just like, if you guys could only see it. The plotting has begun.
We'll have to get more people on
podcast road
before
trips
that.
are going to have to be a thing.
Yeah.
Like a real thing.
I really think that would be really fun to do.
It would be so fun. We can do like one a year.
We could vlog it.
Put that up on the YouTube channel. That we need to actually
And
like, you know,
TikTok.
start uploading
Yep.
stuff to again.
Stress.
All right, are
We're
we
not
good?
adding
Is this
stuff
it?
right
That's why we're
I
planning
think-
road trips.
Because we want to get out.
Okay, yeah, I think that's it for us. Okay, so our next episode will be a curiosity, and we're going to be discussing some Indian mythology. And by Indian, we mean actually from India and not Native American. We have then booked Garth Stein, and he's going to be joining us to discuss his graphic novels, which is the Cloven series. And you might know him from his book, Art of Racing in the Rain, which we already discussed a little bit. Then after that, we're giving you 2 authors in a row, so y'all get ready. We're then having T.A. Spencer back, and he's bringing Face Worn, which is book 2 of his Steel Fated series. And then after that, we will be doing Zach's nonfiction pick, Monsters, A Fan's Dilemma by Claire Detterer. We're just going with that.
Detterer.
Yeah. And then we're doing his deep dive, which is going to be Dungeon Crawler Carl.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
What was it I said last time? Cave Dweller?
Cave Dwelling Carl.
Cage Dweller Carl is what you said, yeah. Which is not the title, everyone.
It's not. It is Dungeon
Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Oh my God, Cave Dweller.
Spelunkin' Sam.
Spelunking Sam, yeah. That should be a person, a character that shows up in the book.
You know what? We're just going to have a whole series of these books now. And we're just going to have to Spelunking Sam. Okay, all right, sorry. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. It's time for us to sign off, but before we go, only the best libraries have librarians who don't shush you.
We do get the book titles wrong.
We do.